Hello everybody, Vicky here, Miss Jackie Russell, and today is Wellness Wednesday. That's right, how are you guys doing after this big major storm? Oh my goodness, we still have white out there because the ice, that's what we mostly got, ice and sleet mixed, like they called it freezing rain or sleet. I really don't know what the difference is, sounds the same to me. But we got a ton of it. Well, we got at least an inch of it. I wouldn't say a ton. We are doing good. We have power, and that's more than I can say for some. And I just want to put a plug in for Brandy with Bargain Mama. She first, all of her pipes froze the first night, I think, because it got down to negative 17 where she is, and she said she even had the pipes running. And then on Tuesday morning she let us know that her power just went off, and it was, I think, 3 degrees, maybe 4, very cold. She has 2 boys, and so keep her in your prayers. I pray that they've got their power back on soon. But as far as Wellness Wednesdays today, I have a few things I'm going to talk about, and one of them is 6 tiny little health habits that you can do that can make a big difference this year. We're going to do a little talk about that because I know many of you probably did do New Year's resolutions. I don't really do them anymore because it seems like they're hard to keep. I try to refer to it as a lifestyle change because most of my resolutions is to get healthier or eat better. A long time ago it was to quit smoking, and I finally did quit smoking in 1986. But, I don't have that problem. I am trying to lose belly fat, so that's my health goal that I'm working on this year, and this weather's not helping because you can't get out and walk. And I can do a little movement in the inside, but it's not the same thing, and you know what I mean. But I do a little movement, like to dance music or whatever, and do a tiny bit of that and some weightlifting, and those are all beneficial. But the other thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick was a couple of products that I got from Amazon, and one of them is activated charcoal. Now this is good for reducing occasional gas. And guys, if you eat like raw vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and things like that, a lot of times that can cause you to have gas as it's processing. So this is one thing that will help. Another thing this will help with is if you ever get food poisoning, it'll help remove the poisons out of your gut. And it's a good thing to take when you're going to Mexico or a foreign country where you're not sure if you're going to get, clean water, or sometimes food might be bad. So we always took this with us. And if you do ivermectin or any type of detox where something's detoxing out of your system, then you might consider using this too, because sometimes you might need to take this like in the evening to help facilitate the cleanse or the detox. So if you're detoxing, maybe this would be something. But anyway, it's Nature's Way, charcoal activated, and it binds unwanted materials and like heavy metals too out of the digestive tract. Convenient, mess-free capsules. Activated charcoal is made from slowly burned coconut husk, so it's healthy for you. It's not bad. Works to bind gas generated from food, and then it says made with quality you can trust. So I use this. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I use this when I'm detoxing, and also if I start to have, if I'm eating broccoli or cauliflower, sometimes that causes a little bit of an issue, and it could be from the serifluous, I don't know if I'm saying that right, component that's in the broccoli. It can cause that. The other thing I did, and it's still wrapped in plastic, is I switched my ollie, and I got this from Amazon because I couldn't get it on Grove, and I switched it because number one, it's 10 milligrams. Now, you need to check with your doctor on maybe taking this high of a dose, but I changed to this one because I have tried them. There's 50, and I usually take 5 milligrams a night. So I am going to get 100 uses out of this because I'm going to take one a day. So, that was my reason behind the madness. Plus, I like the strawberry flavor. I'm not going to eat one because I don't want to fall asleep right now. I need to be awake and alert. But I'll at least show you what they look like. Stab it with a spoon. They smell good. They're like strawberry and berry flavor. So that's what they look like. And like I said, you would take 2, like if you've been flying around the world or something and you need a heavy dose of melatonin, you could take it. But I wouldn't take 10 milligrams every night unless your doctor has, prescribed that or said something about it. And so I'm just telling you that for my own safety's sake and for y'all's too. I don't want you to overdo. But anyways, melatonin, and here's some of the information if you want to screenshot it. It maximizes the snoozing, and it says to take 2 gummies. But remember, that is for 10 milligrams, and I just take 1. So I wanted to let y'all know that. I found that, and I decided I would switch over to that instead of buying the others where you have to take 2 to get the 5 milligrams. Now, let's talk about 6 tiny little things you can do to improve your health. New habits, and some of you are probably already doing this. It's not going to be a big thing that you've never heard of, but just small, repeatable, micro resolutions are still sustainable. And I guess that's the way to look at it, because a lot of times your resolution may be daunting. You say, I'm going to lose, 20 pounds, and you're not going to lose 20 pounds in 1 month. So you need to make that a smaller goal, like to hit for maybe a pound, like 2 pounds to 4 pounds a month. And if you go more, that's great. If you go a little less than 4, well, then you're still within your range and you don't get depressed about it. And you want to make simple habits, eating your protein in the morning. And actually, that's the first thing. You need to load up on protein at breakfast. So whenever you eat, now some people eat early in the morning, other people eat mid-morning, some people wait till lunch. But whenever that is, and you're starting your day, you need to load it up on protein. The protein is important for many essential biological activities, including immune system, hormone function, bone density, health, and blood sugar regulation. And I will tell you another little tip. If you are, deciding to have a snack, and it includes sugar, like a cookie or a piece of candy, if you will eat protein prior to that, and then eat your sweet thing, whatever it is you're eating, then it will slow down the sugar on that reproduction of it. So the glucose will be spread out more evenly and not just flood your system with sugar. And it'll help you burn that versus, I guess, having your blood sugar and stuff go sky high just for a little bit and then that big drop that you have afterwards. But research suggests that consuming protein at the start of your day can specifically improve your heart, blood pressure, cholesterol, while also bolstering muscle protein, which helps maintain lean body mass. And I don't know if y'all eat cereal for breakfast, but really and truly, cereal is not a good breakfast food. It really isn't. Catalogs and everybody like that, marketing wise, made it sound like the greatest thing ever, but it really isn't. So, you want to eat things like eggs, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese. If you like tofu, that's another good thing. I used to do a Jack LaLanne program, which I can't find my little diet menu book from him, and he's long gone now, but he suggested a little 4-ounce beef patty. Now, I know a lot of people can't eat hamburger meat, but if you can eat lean hamburger meat or turkey, ground turkey, and make you a little patty or whatever instead of sausage or something, that's a great source of protein. And I used to do that. Like I said, I wish I could find his little book, but in all the moves that we had, I lost it. Now, the next thing you might want to consider is going for a 10-minute walk after you have meals. And I have started doing that, and 10 minutes is easy to accomplish for most people. Now, I'm not able to do it this week because of this big deep freeze, and I realize many of us are in that same thing. But after eating or drinking, your blood sugar levels naturally rise, and that's normal. But if your blood sugar spikes too high, it can cause serious health issues and affecting your kidneys, eyes, and even your heart. And it's kind of funny that it says your eyes. I've noticed if I ever eat like something really sweet, like maybe a cookie, and it might not even have to be a cookie, it could be a shake, but the sugar just breaks down too fast and spikes. I've noticed my eyes get like a little blurry or something. So I can kind of agree with that. But if you get to walking, it allows your muscles to start absorbing the glucose directly from the bloodstream, and it can really improve a lot. And you can reap the benefits if you do it pretty much right after you're, within 30 minutes of eating if you can. Now, sometimes I walk longer. Sorry, had to get a drink. I've got a little tickle in my throat. Sometimes I have to walk longer, but I don't have to. Sometimes I walk longer, and that's fine too. And you can also, if you really want to try to work toward that belly fat, you could probably walk, 10 to 30 minutes in the morning prior to eating anything. Okay, the next thing we want to practice, which I'm not really good at, is belly breathing. What the world is that? Well, that's diaphragmatic breathing, where you're breathing real deep with your diaphragm and exhaling all the way. And it kind of reminds me whenever I was playing the clarinet in band that I would have to use my diaphragm to push the air through the clarinet. And when I played the cornet too, or the trumpet, I learned how to play that too. And I really had to learn how to push air from my diaphragm that way. But anyway, you want to take deep, slow breaths that use your diaphragm. So it's going to be filling up, and then the whole abdomen and not just your chest. So you want to fill it down below your abs, and then you want to exhale slowly. Now, I want to tell you also, if you ever get a cramp in your leg or your stomach or some other spot, if you'll do some deep breathing and get a lot of oxygen into your system, that'll help with that cramp. Slow breathing also activates the body's relaxation response, which is kind of what I mean by that, engaging parasympathetic nervous system, supporting the brain-gut connection. And the result of using the diaphragmatic breathing can help promote feelings of calmness. So if you get stressed out, and I do that sometimes, you just need to take it, what does it say? Take a chill pill. Well, in this case, take a few deep breaths and reduce the pain and the discomfort or the mood that you're in. So that's number 3. Number 4, you want to take a 5-minute movement snack. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Every hour. Now, I don't do that every hour. I probably used to when I had puppies and everything. I had to be up all the time, off and on, all day long, because you just can't sit around, I guess, so to speak, when you got a bunch of puppies to take care of. But regular physical activity can help you reduce the risk of the 20 chronic diseases and conditions. And this study showed that less than 50% of adults meet the physical activity guidelines for aerobic activity. And you kind of need like 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity. Now, this is going a little bit deeper as far as what kind of exercise you might want to do, but I will say that I do resistance weight training, which is, I use some dumbbells. I have I don't know how to describe this. I've got like a storage container that I keep dog food in, and I take it from my big 100-gallon bucket, so to speak, and condense it to my 10-gallon bucket. And it has a lid on it, and it probably weighs about 5 to 10 pounds. It depends how much dog food I have. And I'll use that for weights training while I'm feeding the dogs, and I'll lift it up. Sometimes I'll do squats. So you can do different things at home. You don't have to go to a fitness place to do this, but you want to do this because the biggest reasons people don't exercise is a result of that you don't have enough time or motivation. So you can kind of sneak this in. Like, say you get a gallon of milk out of the refrigerator. 1 gallon of milk weighs about 5 pounds. So, I mean, if you got a full gallon, you could actually stand there and do, 5 or 6 curls, kind of small, and it'll work on your biceps. And that would be a good thing to do. If you had 2, you could do 2 at a time, or you could just switch and alternate. That's what I do with my little storage bin. Now, I do have dumbbells, and I use 8-pound dumbbells. But if you're a beginner, you would want to get little 1-pound dumbbells, and they're not very heavy, but you want to start off small and then work your way up to 5 pounds. You don't have to go over 5 pounds. I go up to 8 because 5 pounds for me, probably based on my history of working out over the years, is not enough. But I don't want to build any more muscle. Well, let me take that back. I don't mind building muscle, but I don't want to build any bulk or anything. But anyways, prolonged sitting is considered a health hazard, an increasing risk, to your cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure. So getting up and moving around is the thing to do, and just look at it, as they said, an exercise snack. You don't have to entail cardio intensive activity. Instead, just take a loop around your office or at your home, or take a visit to the kitchen, refill your water glass. You could walk up and down stairs. You could do squats, like I was talking about, calf raises, or lunges at your desk, suggesting a walking meeting with coworkers, or even just stand and stretch to increase blood flow. And that's good too, to breathe in deep and then exhale. And that'll also relax your muscles, but it'll also, give you that movement that you might need to do. And then tip number 5 is kind of interesting. It says eat your veggies first. And I've heard eat your protein first, and I've heard eat your veggies first. But according to this, 22% of people plan to eat healthier. So if you're one of them, then this is one thing I guess you might want to take an approach to. Healthy eating goal meal times that involve loading up on leafy greens. Now, I will say eating leafy greens is very good for a lot of reasons. It'll help you digest your food better. You'll get food nutrients from those greens that just does all kinds of things for your whole body and then down into your digestive tract. If you prioritize eating your vegetables first at every meal, you ensure you get essential nutrients before consuming other food. And there are some studies about that where, I guess, like nitric oxide, I'll just use that for an example. Nitric oxide helps us clean our blood vessels so that we don't get plaque buildup. It's not the cholesterol. Cholesterol is sent there to maybe fight it and to try to repair the vessel. But nitric oxide actually is what you need to clean it and push it through. So when you eat like vegetables high in that, like arugula or beets and other greens, then it gives your body a chance to get those nutrients in the stomach first and then into your digestive tract. And so that helps a lot and reduces overeating, because maybe it'll make you feel more satiated, and vegetables tend to be fibrous, rich foods, so you feel fuller sooner. So that's another good reason you won't overeat. There is one study that was in 2023 that younger women who ate vegetables first experienced a significant reducing effect. Now, I'm an older woman, so I don't know that it'll do the same thing for us gals that are older. But it said it also helped with the blood sugar and the insulin and all of that. And I do believe that that would do that. And number 6 is to learn to ground yourself when you're stressed. Our thoughts, often drift to regrets about the past or anxiety or about the future or the storm that was coming and we're still living in it, and it's very stressful. So you want to stay grounded and not have a negative mood. You want to try to keep your sympathetic nervous system a little suppressed. You don't want it aroused all the time with frequent stress like that. And it affects every system in your body when you have stress, and I know all of y'all know that. So it's just a reminder to try to stay calm, do that breathing, and keep your muscles from being tense. I usually get real tense in my shoulders. That's something that I've always done. And I try to breathe and relax or do exercises where I'm stretching way up and then coming down slowly. And then I go back to that breathe in, breathe out. Anyway, a great way to combat this sympathetic nervous system arousal and improve your overall well-being is by practicing the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding exercise. And that helps you center into the present moment by focusing your attention on your 5 senses. So I don't know, I guess what are you supposed to do? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does counting that out help you do that? I guess here's what you can do with those 5 senses. You can notice 5 things you can see. So you can look around. I see a banana. I see a blender. I see the water hitting the window. I see the coffee pot empty. And I see boxes over here. So that kind of calmed me down. You can see 4 things that you can touch. I can touch my counter, touch my cup, touch my new bottle of Ollie's Sleep. I can touch the spoon that I opened that up with. And then you can do 3 things you can hear. I can hear the water hitting that. I can hear the TV faintly in the other room that my husband's watching. And I can hear the little dog move over there. So I mean, like when you stop and do that, your senses are taking away your stress and you're calming down. And 2 things you can do is you can smell. Well, I can smell this jar of strawberry. Oh, yeah, that smells good. And I can even smell this one. I don't know if it'll smell good or not. It's got the top on it. So. But you get the point. You can smell. Just smell the air, I suppose, too. And then you can just take one thing and taste it. And that will slow you down. So if you take a moment to fully register each sensation and allow your body to fully be present, it pulls you out of that stress moment. That's really a good tip. So remember that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So those are really some great little tips, and I wanted to share that with you today on the Wellness Wednesday. And I've been having a good research, I guess you could say, finding some of these things. And many of these things I already know about, just from being in the business that I was in years ago. And in case you want to know, I do have a fitness and nutrition diploma. And I got that, oh my goodness, way back in 1990. So because I had a health club. And I not only help people with their exercises, I was certified in training, I was certified in aerobic exercise, and I was able to help a lot of people. And my health club was called Body Image, the fitness place. And it was real popular in this small little town, and they said it never worked, but it did. And it was very successful, and I was able to help a lot of people. But before I, started the business, I felt it was really important for me to have an education in nutrition and healthy living and exercise. So I got all that prep before I opened up and had, I was knowledgeable, I guess. Plus, I'm a big wellness person in general. I had already been like that before I got into the fitness club. And I always use herbs. And I have numerous herb books. And I've always been a tester on myself. When they say something works, well then, oh really? Well, maybe I'll try that out. And there's a lot of home remedies. And if you think about it, years ago, there was no prescriptions like we have it, when you go to a pharmacy, I'm going to say, let's go back 200, maybe 300 years. The things that you would find in a pharmacy would be herbs that you can buy, like rosemary, thyme, turmeric, all the herbs that we talk about, elderberry. And you take elderberry for colds, you take echinacea, you can take cat's claw for anti-inflammatory. Yeah, you can take that for arthritis. And I used it for my sciatic nerve. Remember, I had inflammation of the sciatic nerve coming down my right side, and I took cat's claw for 30 days, heavy doses. You have to check with your doctor on these things, but I'm just telling you, that's what I did. And within 30 days, my sciatic pain was gone, and now I've been taking one dose, just the regular dose, one time a day, just for maintenance, and it is practically, it's healed, but I still have a little numbness in the bottom of my quadricep, and I think that's the nerve part from having that sciatic nerve, hurt. So anyways, anything I tell y'all about what I take, if you're not already taking it, or if you're not sure about it, or you're on other medications, please check with your doctor. The only medication that I'm on is thyroid disease medicine. I'm on Synthroid and the Cytomol, or y'all might know it as something else, but it's the T3. I have to take T4 and T3 because my T4 don't convert. I was subclinical when they finally found it, and that was what was happening. My T4 wasn't converting, and sometimes they find that under subclinical. Sometimes they'll find that under central hypothyroidism too. But anyways, that was something that I went through, and it was not easy trying to get all that adjusted. So like I said, if you're on medications, be sure and check with your doctor, because there may be things you can take, but you may have to take it at different times. Like with my thyroid medicine, I can't take my calcium. I can't drink milk, anything that would have calcium. It has to be separated at a different time. So I take mine in the morning before I eat anything, at least an hour ahead of time. But guys, this is my Wednesday wellness, and that's all I have. Let me know if you have any comments, if you have any questions on some of the 6 tiny habits. They seem bigger than tiny, don't they? That's the way it always seems. But just, if you can't do them all, do one of them. Start with one and then add the next one. And again, if you've made a resolution to lose weight, if your goal's 20, turn it down to 1 to 4 a month. Don't say I'm going to lose 20 pounds in a month, because you're probably not. But you might be able to lose 1 pound, and you might lose more than that. And if you can set your goal to that, then if you lose it slower, you can keep it off. Now, that works for most people, and I will have to say, when you are past menopause like me, and I know several of you are, and if you have a thyroid problem like me, it may not be as simple and as easy as that. And I already know that. So I'm working toward it, and I'm hoping that my body will respond, and I'm trying different things. But I just want to encourage you, because it does take time, and it's not you. You also have to remember, it's not you. It's your body. It's your body that's causing some of these issues. And it's not because you're not trying good enough, because I know. I ate really, really healthy. I don't eat hardly any bread or cookies, or I can't eat them. So because they upset me so much, inflame me so much. Because I think because of the gluten and the wheat that's in a lot of the products. And so I'm just very sensitive. So I don't even eat that. And you would think, you don't eat that, you cut out breads and stuff, you would just lose all kinds of weight. But I didn't, and I don't. But, that's just the way it is. But I'm still going to try. And again, it's not you, it's your body that's doing it to you a lot of times. Now, if you are one of those persons that do eat and snack constantly all the times on all kinds of foods, I am sure that if you reduced a lot of that, you would probably have some significant changes in your body. I don't know how much, of course, but just by doing that, you can make a big difference. And if you don't see it in your body, you may feel it. You may feel better, have more energy, and all that kind of stuff. So don't disregard the health benefits just because the scale may not be telling you what you want to see. Just stay focused on eating and being healthy and doing those little 6 tiny habits. But anyways, again, that's all I have. Be sure and stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm going to have my makeup looks for January. And then Friday, we're going to have another story for Freaky Friday. And it's going to be another one about something that's related to my life anyways. So if you're interested in that, then be sure and set your little bell so that you know when it comes out, you'll be able to see it. And I do have some recalls again. I cannot believe how many recalls are coming out all the time. So we'll talk a little bit more on Freaky Friday, and I am opening that up to an open collab. So if anybody wants to participate or have their own freaky story or news report, it's hashtag Freaky Friday Report. And that's what we're using. And that way, in the future, when anybody wants to see another story or find out something from another channel, they could just tap that hashtag and off they go to others that would be doing it just like Mass Monday. But anyways, that's it. That's all I have today. Everybody be well and happy. Be safe. And yeah, I think we're out of school again today. So they didn't have school Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday. So hopefully we'll heat up enough to melt this stuff off. But anyways, that's all I have. And as usual, I wish you all a blessed and happy day. Bye-bye.